y'all. I just clicked live, so we'll get that.
Woo.
Yeah, I just started watching Drag Race during the quarantine. So I'm a baby Drag Race.
I started watching it partially because a friend was like, you need to watch this, but also because I followed Leslie Jones on Twitter.
Oh, yes.
And she
loves
live
it.
tweets. And I was like, anyone who like cares this deeply about a TV show, like I have to give it a go. Like, let's check this out.
Hey, everybody. We're just talking about Drag Race. I found out that Jackie likes Drag Race. So I'm like, hey, someone I can talk about it with. But welcome. Happy Tuesday. Happy Readalong live. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Yeah, I just like, my mind's just like in a haze because I literally just got home and had to run upstairs and turn my computer on because I was hosting. I had to pick up my daughter from tumbling, and she like hurt her neck during tumbling, and so we had a lot of tears, and she's downstairs icing her neck, so hopefully she'll be fine. But anyways, I'm just like in a haze. But so we'll go around the kind of a triangle of us, and we'll introduce ourselves, and we'll talk about what we're planning on reading. And everyone in the chat, please let us know what you're planning on reading tonight. So go ahead, Tori, and kick it off.
I'm Tori from LA. I don't know what I'm going to read. So I have Twisted Loyalties by Cora Riley, which is like the first in a series. But I'm also listening to Honey Girl by, what's her name? Morgan Rogers. Due back at the library.
That's a great cover.
Yes, I was going to say, that's a gorgeous cover.
It's due back at the library tomorrow. So I'm like, do I just listen to the audio for tonight? I don't know. I'm going back and forth. We'll see. I haven't decided yet.
Hello.
Oh no, Casey.
From Frozen.
Video. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to be reading Billionaire's Bargain. I haven't read this before, and I think Fated Mates talked about it a few weeks ago, so that's what put it on my radar. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's a blackout, right?
Naima Simone.
Yep.
Her categories are great, but I think I was going to say my favorite is the Wives and Girlfriends series, but it's actually the Taboo Sin and Ink series.
Mm.
The heroine is in lust with her widow. She's the widow, her dead husband's brother. And he's been pining for this whole time. And he's like, but I can't.
Oh,
The
I
angst.
love that. Yes.
The angst is so good.
Sounds very
That was
angsty.
amazing.
She's amazing.
So what are you reading, Jackie?
I am reading Written on Your Skin by Meredith Duran, and it's for the seasonally booked up Spring of Spies. This is our second to last book, and I've been very much looking forward to it because I love Meredith Duran. I think her writing is like beautiful and devastating, and I'm like 5 chapters in, so I'm behind, but I'll be catching up tonight.
I was always behind when I was a part of that, and I was like, spies. I don't know.
There's been a few that have been good, but there definitely, I feel like, the spy work can be hit or miss, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
What's up?
Hey, I also don't know what I'm reading. I'm either reading Volume 4 of Blackbird or Volume 10 of Hanakimi. So it depends if I want darker manga or 1990s high school drama.
Ooh.
That's a toughie.
Yep.
Well, hey everyone, I'm Kayla from On the Fritz, obviously. I'm hosting. I'm really excited about the book that I'm gonna start, and that is Transcendence by Chase Savage.
Ooh, I've heard of that one a lot.
Me
My
too.
TBR forever, but I didn't want to pay the $5.99 for it. So my library had it on paperback. I was really surprised.
Oh.
So I just snagged it. So I'm technically like I have 30 minutes left of the Ice Planet Barbarian book I'm reading, but it's a reread, so I really want to start this. So I think I'm going to start this on tonight. So we got The Bride Test.
Oh, I love that one.
Dreams of a Dark Warrior.
Ooh. Kresley Cole. That one's hard. I started Dreams of a Dark Warrior, I think, in January because I was doing a read through with a couple of my friends. And that was the only book in the series that I couldn't finish because I was like, there's too much violence against women. I don't have the space for this right now.
I just can't do Kresley Cole. I don't like her writing.
You know, I understand that. There are some authors that I'm like, I don't understand the hype. So I get that sometimes, like, I think Aria Morrison's like, sometimes an author just won't work for you, and that's not anything bad. It's just a bad author-reader mismatch.
Yeah,
and I totally get that. There are some that
This is like classic book 2, We Were Liars. I read that a long time ago. I didn't like it, but I hope you like it, Jordan. That's a classic. Is E. Lockhart, is she still doing things?
I think
I've not
so.
heard that name. I also haven't, I don't know.
She's a pretty staple YA author, I feel like.
Yeah, I saw her at a book event one time. That was like 5 years ago. That was like around like Genuine Fraud. Just trying to see.
I just saw, I think Hannah was reading or listening to Sweet Talk by Cara Bastone. I finished that last week. So good. I love Cara Bastone. She's amazing.
Is that the one?
It just dropped recently. It's one of her Audible originals that has like the more like audio play style stuff.
Mm.
It's really great. My favorite of hers though is Just a Heartbeat Away, and it's the first in her series. And lots of pining. It's really good.
I have not heard of most of these books.
The Lady in the Orc.
Oh my God, Tiffany!
So bad.
Tiffany Friend. Wow.
That's going on the list.
I'm so excited. I've had that on my TBR, and it's been popping around on Goodreads. I'm like, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it net. Like it's on my. I have it checked out of KU. I'm like, I'm gonna read it.
It's surprisingly long, and there's the word spurt so many times. I don't think I've ever read the word spurt or similar
Honestly,
words in a single
spurt
book.
is not the worst word I've heard used. So
Not the worst, but I feel like if it's used so many times, it gets a little. That's when it gets bad.
it also seems like
Well,
one of those words
also
that
a
the
lot
more
of stuff
you
about like
say it,
flower.
the less it feels real.
Mm.
Oh, flower. Yeah.
Flower. My whole family does that with children. I'm like, I don't like that word. It's a weird word. It's not a good one.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's hot though. I mean,
The spurting in the flowers. It's hot.
I mean,
burning
like-
the flowers.
it's one of those things where when you like think about the actual words, there's a little bit of like a, is this what's going on right now moment? But like when you don't question it, when you just like read through, you're like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm down for this.
Mhm.
You just can't like slow down and like ask questions.
Yeah. No question. Don't ask any questions. Just
No
run.
thinking allowed.
Yeah.
So during my reread of Ice Planet Barbarians, like I was thinking about this on my drive home. I'm like, man, I am sick of hearing the word folds for the lady part.
Oh.
Like, folds. I'm like, because it, it has the same voice in each book basically, and so there's a lot of cocks and there's a lot of folds, and I'm like, I need to start reading something else. Just binging through Ice Planet Barbarians is, But
My book club just read the first book in that series. It's a romance book club, so like they knew what they were in for. But I think most people hadn't read it before, and they were like, "Yeah,
Velvet.
what happened?
I remember they were velvety smooth. I only read the first one.
It's the folds. Yep,
right,
lots of folds.
lots of."
I'm gonna read it one day.
Yes.
I forgot how short IPB is. Like her later books are like 200-300 pages, and this one's like 150. Like it is bite-sized in
Right.
comparison.
They're snacking.
And it was like serialized too. So can you imagine it like coming out in like 5 or 6 different parts, and it's still like what?
Oh wait, the first book was serialized?
Yes, the first 2 were.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
So like you go on Goodreads and look at like the different versions, you can kind of see where it's like the same cover, the same title, but like part 1, part 2, something like that. And there's like at least 5 parts. I'm like, how did she divide this up? Like what? This book is not that long.
Well, and particularly since like the tonal shifts from like the first few scenes where they're kidnapped is like hella dark. Like, so like, but then like later it's like, oh, I'm so bummed to be trudging through the snow with this hot blue man. Like
down on me constantly.
I know.
I need to go save my friends.
Interesting.
On the other side, I've heard on Honeymooners. I've never read Christina Lauren. Never have I ever.
Never read Christina Lauren.
I haven't. I'm not a big contemporary reader. They're on my list.
Fair.
But on Honeymooners is like on the top of the list. But it's like well known to be a fade to black.
Yeah, I was like, it's pretty good, but it's fade to black.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't read it. I haven't read a few of their books, and I haven't read
their early stuff. Their early stuff is real dirty. Like banging on a desk in front of like a full plate window wall dirty.
So good.
But that's like the real early stuff. That's the Dating You, Hating You, or Beautiful Bastards.
Beautiful Bastards.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, they've really changed, but
I don't think they're going to go back to writing as sexy books. Like they were in some live, and I think one of them made a comment about like there are just some stories you can't tell, and I was like, I don't like that. Why are we talking about?
Tell us. Yeah, give us the details, please.
They're more traditional. They're more famous. They're more tame, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's probably more marketable. Moms will buy it in Target.
Yeah, they want their stuff to be sold in Target.
I'm so sorry. God, I'm so sorry.
I feel attacked.
I just really liked their like early stuff, and I was like, I feel betrayed. Which it's not about me. They can try whatever they want. It's fine.
I love that.
I only read like 2 books of their really early stuff, and then Josh and Hazel, and then the Honeymooners, and it was just like a weird transition where I'm just like, is this the same? Like,
Mom, that's true.
Mom's one.
My mom is one who like didn't feel like she would skip sex scenes in books, so like that's why I said that.
Right. I get what you're trying to say.
My mom will read it in Target.
My mom has ingrained in me from an early age that even like cartoons kissing on TV is gross. And now I'm here.
Like, cover your eyes during movies?
She'd be like, like I couldn't watch, like if I was 6 years old, I couldn't watch Y7. If I was like 12, I couldn't watch like YA13. Like it was like, or PG-13. Like it was like that. And every time like they kissed at the end of a Disney movie, she was just like, ew. And so I automatically was just like, ew. And
kissing bad.
Now I read alien smut with weird penises that we have to like draw out to figure out what they look like.
Yes. I like rewatched A Knight's Tale within the last few years, and I somehow didn't know there's a scene. Somehow, my mom would always skip the scene where they like bang it out, and she comes to his tent, and I like watched this movie, and I was like, wait, this is a deleted scene. What? How do you guys know?
Deleted by mom scene.
No.
Deleted by mom scene. I love it. I love it.
No, I watched things that I should not have watched at a young age. And I have a feeling that I'll be the one like, here, read this, Penny. Put it in her backpack when she's obviously of a proper age, but
not now.
Yeah, I mean, she's 5. I'm kidding.
The words will be a little too difficult anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just have her like phonetically pronounce some of the words.
Yeah. I don't think she can read slick folds, so.
And I don't want to, so.
And I don't want to. I don't need to hear that. No. You're
Oh,
reading
I
an
love it.
urban fantasy? Is there even sexy times in that one? Or is that one of the earlier ones?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought, does any of them have sexy times in it?
Yeah, they get progressively more sexy, but it takes like 3 books for them to even like acknowledge each other as more than like frenemies.
Yeah.
See, again, that's why I haven't. I love their Hidden Legacy series, but I haven't read that one because I know it's slower, and I was like,
Yeah.
I
Downfall of.
love Mad Rogan
oh my god,
so
absolutely,
much.
I understand.
We got flames.
Wow.
So yeah, speaking
Ooh, there were flames.
Promising.
Oh, Magic Ships is number 8. Okay, that's why. Yeah,
um,
they're established.
we're getting ready to read. So if you guys do experience any sexy times, any hot scenes in your book, leave a fire emoji in the chat.
Please. Maybe the title, just for
Title followed by fire.
Right. And we'll come back to it afterwards and we'll want to know the dirty
Yes.
details, basically. Okay. So let me see if I can do this. Nicole did this. If I can get a timer. Share my screen. Ooh. Okay.
Ooh, wow.
Now.
Look at us.
All right,
Yes.
y'all. So, yeah, get those fire emojis ready and happy reading. And we'll see you guys back in 40 minutes. All right. Trying to quietly stop. Nicole used a timer last weekend, and like when it was done, like there was an alarm that went off, and it like scared the shit.
Oh no.
So I was like, okay, mute. I'm gonna try to ease out of this for anyone that's jumpy like me. Y'all talk about music in the background. I've thought of that before. I was like, could we like play music while we're doing this? But then like, I guess I would have to be unmuted, so then everyone can like hear me, baby. I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
I think you can share sound when you share screen.
But just not like I could be muted and then play music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
let's
you should be able
go.
to.
Yeah, it's the mic volume versus the computer volume. It's two different things.
Interesting. Oh, now we can't hear it.
No, you gotta
Yeah.
share screen.
Yeah, try your screen.
Can you hear it?
Oh, also, I will say, I did find some excellent titles of smutty playlists. There's Reading Smut Till 3 a.m., Reading Wattpad Smut, Smut Pod, Smut Songs, Wattpad Smut, Reading Smutty Fanfics After Midnight.
Ooh.
Wow. Were there any songs that you noticed in common?
I didn't actually look through them. I just looking at the title there. Smut slut, smut with an eggplant emoji. Smutty
Love
songs for
that.
people with daddy issues. It's oddly
Oh.
specific.
Called out.
Where'd you find these?
I just looked up smut in playlists on Spotify.
Oh,
For sure, for sure.
I don't have Spotify. I looked on I have Prime Music, and it was just love songs for a station, and that was it. It's like, oh, that's not quite what I want.
Oh my god, the first song on the smutty songs for people with daddy issues is something by Doja Cat. That is funny. to me.
Reading Smut Till 3 a.m. The first song is Daddy Issues by The Neighborhood.
I think that's actually quite a good song.
Yeah.
I think so.
Letter
I've heard of it
Weather
before.
505.
I love that this actually exists, and it's a thing.
Yep.
Prior.
Yeah. Daddy Issues is a bop. The song specifically.
I love it. I love
My
it.
cat came storming in partway through it and was like, "Give me attention now." So
Yeah, I saw you playing with something. I was like, it must be a pet.
yes, little freak.
Really not her book.
There's one that says a playlist for reading smut, and the cover art is a person like opening a chastity belt. Like
I'm sorry, where is
like
this?
from a manga. I was like scrolling through. I highly doubt that y'all could
Oh,
do
I
this. Try
saw
to give it
that.
to
You're,
you.
like, breaking the chastity belt. Is there a key?
Yeah. It's a key. It's like a heart
See in
lock.
this little
It's a key.
click.
Oh.
It says click.
Very cute. Someone's is called DNF Smut playlist.
Oh.
That's funny.
There's also a
I'm
lot
not
in
sure if
Polish.
everybody- Yeah.
So that might mean something in Polish. Because they all say smutny polski something.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Ooh, Tori, what did you end up reading?
Oh,
Out of curiosity.
I picked up the Twisted Loyalties.
Hmm.
I got like 15% of the way through. So I don't know if anyone's read this series.
I haven't.
It basically is like a spinoff of like the Born in whatever the hell by Cora Riley, like that whole series. And I love mafia romances, and this is about one of the characters from that. And I'm just like, but why did that happen? I'm very confused. I'm like, why is it starting out like this? Why? So I don't know how I feel about it, but I heard a lot of people said they liked it. So I'm like, okay. And then my sushi got here, so I just
Sushi.
Always a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of see like mixed reviews of it on Goodreads.
Yeah, I
I
read
was worried
the
you were gonna say sushi, and I was like sad for a minute there.
first
Mixed
series a
reviews of
while
sushi.
ago, like years ago, and it was good. Except the other, like the books like 7 or 8. I'm just like, all right, that's enough of that series. So I'm like interested on this one, but it's starting literally the same way as all of her books do.
Huh.
So I'm just confused.
That's relatable, Jordan.
Yep.
I don't think I've straightened my hair since like high school. I mean, I had
This is my
naturally
hair
had
straightened.
hair, so but like I would like straighten it so I had like the flat, really, really straight hair. And I'm just
I
like,
feel like though that energy of like I'm gonna do a thing, like I'm gonna read a book, and then I like sit down to actually do it, and I get a few pages, and then I'm like, you know what? I think that I think I need to like sort through, like I don't know, something. Like something always comes up.
yes.
I
And so I
scrolled
was
through-
saying earlier, like there's been times where I've been on here and like, yeah, I didn't read anything. I was watching a show or I was on Amazon or whatever. So it's all good.
I was scrolling Instagram, and then I checked one of my YouTube videos, and then I went to Twitter, and then I went back to my book. The problem of reading on
Tessa
your
Dare. Oh, I also on Instagram, and Tessa Dare is live right now, but she's just chatting with her Portuguese fans and speaking Portuguese, and I love it. It
What?
was so great.
What a badass. I love that.
I know. I don't know if she already knew Portuguese or if she like learned it, but I know she's like started like tweeting in Portuguese within the last year. And I love that for her because she's got a lot of like fans in Brazil and
Wow.
other places.
Interesting.
That's so fun for her.
We are learning a lot tonight.
We are.
Yeah.
So I started Transcendence, and for anyone that doesn't know what this is, it's a time travel romance where the heroine is like back in, I don't know, long time ago with the cavemen, and the hero is a caveman and he's all by himself. And it's really sad, like, because he's by himself and she shows up and he's like so happy because he's like, oh, my mate's here and let me show her my cave and let me impress her. And she's like freaking out.
How does she go back in time?
I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever find out. She just shows up in a hole. She like shows up in a pit. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Ooh, stressful.
You mean you don't just fall asleep and wind up thousands of years in the past?
I mean, not on a Tuesday. I
Yeah.
think the whole book, though, from what I've heard from people, yeah, it's like all in his point of view.
Oh, weird.
Interesting.
That is interesting because, like, it's funny because, like, it's not in like broken English or anything, and like, there's like the author uses actually some kind of like bigger words. I'm like, oh, this caveman has a very broad vocabulary, I think.
You?
So.
Does he talk like in broken sentences?
He hasn't talked to her yet.
Okay.
I just started it. It's like peeking ahead, but like I don't know if it's like they speak a different language, so like she has to teach him, or if it's like he's been on his own for so long he's kind of forgotten how to speak. Maybe right now.
I don't think cavemans knew English.
I don't know.
Was English around in a form that we would understand at that time?
I don't think so.
Feel like no.
I also feel like
I mean,
no.
I know I haven't read Beowulf, but I've like seen screen grabs of the text, and I'm like, I don't even think that is English. So like, older than that, questions.
Yeah, I would think they wouldn't have the same. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I
Like,
kind of enjoy that. At least I feel like it can be a fun escapist thing in a romance, like in IPB, and then in one of the Cressley Cole books, Stephen from the Dark. There's a language gap, and I think that always, it's just like a bananas thing that kind of like heightens the tension of like, some couples have communication issues. Get a load of these two.
Yes. Yeah, I like that in books, and it brings them together because they have to learn how to talk, let alone survive and get food and maybe get her back to the present day somehow. I don't know. Who knows how this is going to end, but
Interesting.
it's good so far. I like it.
There you go. Well, I was going to ask Megan if she went dark or 90s high school, but
I went dark. Sorry, my spouse just brought me food.
oh, nice.
I went dark. I'm on number 4 of Blackbird, and it opened up with like cunnilingus and then cock blocking.
Great
Like the next page. So I was like, oh, okay. And then immediately this like small child was like, sir, this person needs you. And I was like, oh, small child.
What a whirlwind.
And then he like flashed back to when he was like a pervy like teenage kid, and he and his best friend were reading like smut books. One was called Titanic. One was called Pirates of the Lesbians.
That's funny.
I was like, okay.
Well, now I want to read Titanic.
And I was like, I had to stare at it. I'm like, Titanic? I'm like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Titanic.
I don't get it.
And it was just like, it was like girls in like bikinis holding each other's boobs. It was really weird.
Cool. Then tragically dying at the end of the book, maybe.
I don't know. They didn't go over what the book was about. They were just like, oh, they were two pervy boys who bonded over pervy stuff. And then the flashback ended.
Paige coming in clutch.
Oh, interesting.
Was in her from her POV.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Hmm.
And I'm so spoiled. I love dual or multiple POV books. That when it's singular, it's just like,
Oh, it kills me.
yeah, it feels so one-sided. Especially for like the relationship. I'm like, yeah, but what does he think? Or yeah, but what does he think? We don't know. It bugs me.
I think it has to be done like right if you're gonna do just like first person or one POV, or if it's like just one of the characters but like third person or whatever. I think it has to be done really, really well for me to like make it believable
Yeah.
and for it to like click in my head, because then I get lost. I'm like, wait, why are you doing that? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like there are some, like, if you're only doing single POV, in some ways that makes it like harder in the sense that if anything like wild is happening or one of the people is doing something that could potentially be harmful, since you don't get the other person's POV, like there's risk there. Like there's I can't remember what Sarah McLean at one point said, "Hi, I'm a stan." Sorry, side note. Like whatever is going on in the scene, whoever the person that has the most to lose needs to be the POV character to make sure that like you know that they're like okay, or I mean like that they're going to be okay. Yeah. And I feel like if you aren't doing both POVs, in my mind, I'm like, oof, there's high risk there.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. That is definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to it. Like when it happens, it's like, oh, what is this? How old is this book? Or, you know, something that just takes me out of it.
Yeah.
Let alone anything else. Casey, how
I've heard.
your book?
Oh, I got about 100 pages into my book.
Ooh.
And I'm liking it. I'm liking it so far. But I kind of think the hero is kind of a fucking asshole, which really like bothers me. So that's gonna get it knocked down a little bit. But yeah, he's kind of an asshole. Like he is like, it's like the best friends, like the best friend of her dead husband is who she ends up marrying, and his whole family thinks that she cheated on him and everything, but really he was an abusive husband, and then he died. So they're not being great to her, and I'm kind of like, I feel like you can all just go die and it will be fine.
Yes.
So
yeah, that was one of the books that I read to like 80%, and it lived in my currently reading purgatory up until like a month ago, where I finally just like unchecked it. And I didn't finish. It's not like I didn't finish it because I didn't like it, but it was one of those that I put down for some reason. But yeah, the hero was a big doucher. I remember that. And like the whole family, because they believed the baby daddy or whatever. And it's like, no, like he was horrible and she's out of the picture for a reason. But
Yeah, they just don't listen to her at all.
no, I thought she was the problem.
Yeah. I'll probably finish it just because it's going so fast, but
Mm-hmm.
and I'm interested in reading the rest of them.
I love the idea though of like a blackout and then like people just start hooking up or whatever. Like, you know, they interact during the blackout at this like giant like gala or ball thing or whatever. Like, you know, rich people are involved and
there's like a blackout and the whole mansion like locks down, like they can't leave. So like they're all just trapped inside and they all just end up hooking up with each other. So it's like, that makes
sounds about right.
Nothing else to do. Like, you have boobs. You'll do. Let's hang out.
Yeah, they can't see anything.
You have boobs. You'll do. That is the criteria.
The bar is so low.
Yeah, it worked for me.
Next patent butts.
Next friend is next Tuesday. So we have these friends every Tuesday. And Jess from Peace Love Books is hosting next week. Same time on her channel. So yeah. Anybody else want to share any? I think everyone shared their book. Jackie, how is your book?
Oh, it's so great. It's funny. So we're reading it for Seasonally Booked Up. And like Meredith Duran is one of those authors who like I typically consume books at a breakneck speed, but when I read her books, I really have to slow down because like the writing is pretty dense, which like isn't always to everyone's taste. And there was some like combos in the group chat about like, nah, it's so long. Like, and I'm just like, Meredith is amazing. I respect it and I'm like, sometimes I'll be reading and I'm like, I know this is good. I just don't have the capacity for my brain to do this work right now. And I'm like, I respect that. But also like, oh, but it's so good. And like the words are like hauntingly beautiful. Like there's this quote about like, he saw a ghost of the person he used to be exiting the library. And I was just like, oh, slay me, Meredith.
Wow.
And they were
a simple bitch
together. It was so good.
Yeah. It's been a while since I read historical, but yeah, you get those, you know, those authors that really build and play with their words and make it beautiful. I think Sarah McLean does a really good job modernly doing that. And then like, I don't know how old the book you're reading is, but then like you get some older books and it's like, for some reason it's clunky and it's just, I don't know, it's because of like the words are, you know, big words for me or what it is. And I have so many historicals on my shelf that are, this one's not that big. Like this.
Oh, the old ones that are like 400
pages. And the text is itty bitty.
Tiny.
Oh no.
I'm
no,
like,
ma'am.
I can't wait to read this. It's gorgeous, but it's 500 pages. Like I haven't even read A Court of Silver Flames yet. You want? I'm like, hello.
I'm rereading.
I feel like it also just depends on. Oh, so good. Sometimes I have the capacity for it, but also like sometimes I'm like I am aware that the things I'm doing IRL are too heavy for me to work to think about this. So like sometimes you've got it. But also, sorry, Megan, please continue talking about ACOTAR.
Oh, it's just me hating ACOTAR. I DNF'd it. I DNF'd it the first time I read it.
I was so excited.
And then I read it again and I got all the way through it. And now I'm rereading it because we last with the book and I are reading it because she hasn't read it yet. And I was like, oh man, I forgot how much I just hate everyone in this book.
I mean, yeah.
But you're just talking about the first one, right?
I'm talking about the first one. I haven't read past the second. So
okay. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
The second one, in my opinion, is the best book.
Acorn
is
like,
good, but
we were like, we're gonna take 2 weeks, and we're on Tuesday, and she's like, I'm done. I was like,
oh my god.
I'm guessing she loved it because she ran through it That's what happened to me. I was buddy reading ACOTAR, and I could not put it down. I was like, sorry, people, I'm already on the second book. Like, I can't stop reading it.
But there's something about her writing, like Sarah
Her
J.
writing's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just hate everyone. I hate Feyre's family.
Yes.
I just hate everyone.
Yeah.
There's I hate Feyre. Like, there's no likable characters in the first book.
No, not really.
It's just like, let's just read about hating everyone. It's fine. I'm reading the Anita Blake series with a very similar attitude. I'm just like, God, I just hate everyone in this series. I'm on like number 20, and I just hate everyone in this series.
You and fantasy and paranormal are just not friends right now, are they?
We aren't, and yet I'm still reading it. I'm just addicted. I can't stop. I don't know.
I feel that. I think
Feyre is an idiot. Hardcore. She's so dumb.
She's not
She's so dumb.
Isn't she also like 17 supposedly?
Yeah. I thought she was like 18.
That checks out to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, you don't have a fully like formed prefrontal.
See, I thought she was like
cortex.
I thought she was an actual person. I thought she was an adult.
An actual person. That's a good.
I mean, same thing.
She had to do everything for her family and blah blah blah. So
Tamlin's the
like,
worst.
Tragic.
Yes. I respect that like people can change and be better, but also to the people who are like, when's Tamlin gonna get his story? I think he's misunderstood. I'm like,
No.
Tamlin's the worst.
No.
Yeah, my Goodreads review is just like this long, basically saying Tamlin is a douche canoe over and over and over and over
Such a
again.
douche canoe.
So pissed.
Such a douche canoe.
That's why I love Sarah J. Maas. Like, she takes these characters and like you hate them at first, and then you fall in love with them, and then like I didn't hate Tamlin in book 1, and
I didn't either.
I hated him in book 2.
I was not a fan of Tamlin in book 1. Once again, I DNF'd it the first time I read it. I DNF'd it at like chapter 35. Like, I was real far into that book. And I'm still just like, no, we're done. And then I picked it up like 6 months later and tried again.
Jennifer
I think I read it in high school first, and so I feel like my threshold for men being dicks was like
that's fair.
I did
read
lower.
Twilight an obsessive amount when I was like 14.
Yeah, same. Same. Totally.
I was all team Jacob. I did not see Jacob as problematic until I got like way older, and then I was like, he's creepy. They're all creepy.
I feel like in the books he comes off as less creepy, but when you see in the movie Taylor Lautner being such a child, I'm like, ew.
That's fair.
Wow.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched the first one, and it was a wild ride.
They're horrible.
I rewatched it once, and I was like, this is so bad.
They're terrible.
Do you love Tamlin?
I'm guessing she hasn't read Twilight. That's my guess.
Oh, she hasn't read Twilight?
So I read Twilight when... Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fine. You're fine.
Oh my god.
Did you read Breaking Dawn when you were pregnant, though? Because I feel like that would have been a different experience.
That would have been more appropriate.
I hate myself.
I feel like what's better than naming your child like Aelin? Oh God, I hope.
Yeah.
I say that and then I'm like, God, am I an ass? A little bit.
Let's be fair though. Edward is still just a standard person name.
Yeah. This is true.
Like if I'm like my daughter's middle name is Feyre or something, like that's weird. No offense to people named Feyre. I love all of you regardless of your names.
I didn't read the like how to pronounce things at the beginning when I first started the book, and I read her name as Fair. And I'm like, that's cool. And then I realized it was Feyre, and I was like, nah, that's stupid. I don't like that.
I read through audiobooks, so if the narrator mispronounces the name, that's the name.
For Throne of Glass, not grass, I pronounce kale as cowl, I think. They're like, oh, Kale, I hate Kale. I'm like, who's Kale? Like, what? I was like, oh, Cal. So that was mine.
I don't think Kale reminds me of like nom nom nom.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Greens.
I think I
Greens. Leafy
I
greens.
what's her name? I don't even know how the fuck you actually pronounce it. Selena? Nope. From Throne of Glass.
Selena? I thought it was Selena.
Oh,
I
see,
don't think it matters. It's not even her name.
I did a whole like reading vlog reading that whole series. I think I read like all 9 books in like 8 or 9 days or something. And every time I had to say the character name, and I'm like 3 or 4 times I'm trying to think, what the fuck is this name? Like, I don't know. Like, it's in my head. Like, Pharaoh was Feyre for the longest time until I got to the end of the book. I was like, oh shit, this is definitely not how you say it.
Why did we not put pronunciation guides at the front of the book? Like, that would make our lives so much easier.
Yeah.
So my first exposure to Black Dagger Brotherhood was through the audiobooks.
Mhm.
So when people were like, their names are spelled so weird, and I was like, what? I was like, Revenge is a weird name. And then there's like, there's an H randomly in Revenge. I'm like, why is there an H in Revenge?
Yeah. Same.
So funny.
They would say,
And then I had to go and look.
oh, you mean vicious? They're like, oh yeah, there's like a couple H's and a G in there or something. I'm like, what? Yeah, same with me.
Revenge's book is the one where he has a barbed penis that's then never mentioned again. Like it's
don't think I
dropped,
read
like,
his
oh,
book.
by the way. Yeah, they literally multiple times. I think it's either previous books or at the beginning of that book. They're like, yeah,
No,
this
like, I
guy's
think you're
got
right.
a
I
barbed
remember
dick.
hearing it,
Oh
but I
yeah.
don't remember
But it
reading
never
his
comes
book.
into play.
No.
Like,
Well, that's a shame.
like she just drops it on the table and then it's like,
That's a missed opportunity.
I don't even know what book I'm on. I skipped
finished.
4. I know I skipped 4 because I didn't care about Butch's book. I think I've read 5. I think I may be on 6.
You didn't care about Butch?
I don't give a fuck about
I
it.
feel like the subtext is there for Vicious and Butch. Like
Oh,
the
who is
subtext is there.
I
Whoever
didn't
was
Zeta's
like-
twin is, Fury? Is it Fury?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fury.
God, his book was boring.
Yeah, he's kind of a punk.
I think he's where I stopped because it was too boring. And I was just like, tap out, we're done.
Which one am I on? So I skipped 4. Oh, yeah, I'm on 6.
I
Whatever.
think I read 9.
I'm on.
I only read the first one and I gave up.
You didn't.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I hate
I mean,
all
it's
of
paranormal,
IAD, so like I get it.
I was also just silent during that Sarah J. Maas discussion. I just hate read Throne of Glass and then never touched ACOTAR, and I'm just sitting here like, I'll just stay over here.
Throne of Glass
I do
and ACOTAR are very different though, because I read the first like 2 or 3 of Throne of Glass, and then I read ACOTAR, and they are not the same beast.
I mean, she started Throne of Glass when she was 16, and it's indicative in the text that it's a very, like, she was a less mature, experienced writer.
Yeah.
And, like, I think it takes until the green cover, Air of Fire. That's when it gets really good. It's also when we get Manon, so, like.
I mean, I love
See, I
Manon.
quit after like book 2 or 3.
I got to book 4 or 5. I don't remember, but I still was like, no, I'm leaving.
Oh.
Yeah, Air of Fire is my favorite out of the whole series.
It's so good. It's so good. But then again, like, I don't think I might reread the series again, but it would be because nostalgia, not because I think that it's like an amazing series.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna reread it. I might go back and reread like Air of Fire and like parts of Queen of Shadows and parts of Kingdom of Ash, but I would never go back to that whole damn series. Like, it's gonna sit on my shelf forever because I just cannot. I can't do that again. Like the same thing with ACOTAR. I can only read. Is it Wings and Ruin?
But
Is it the third one? I think it's the third one.
the middle one is the best one.
Which one?
Mist and
Fury.
Is it the second or third one?
That's
Mr. Fury's the
2.
second one.
I go back and forth on which one's my favorite. Like, I'd only go back and read those 2.
I like the first one I rarely reread, but I read Akamath. It's just
I haven't read the third one. So
the third one's fine. It's the end.
that's fair.
But it's not like when they're together and like their relationship grows and they learn about each other.
Yeah.
That's true.
as a I was a fantasy reader, and then I read Throne of Glass, loved it, and I read ACOTAR, and I marathoned through it, and I loved it. But as a fantasy reader, I'm like, plot wise, villain wise, like
Not great.
it was not fulfilling. I was like, so what's gonna happen? Like, I mean, there was a big battle, like, you know, and that was epic. But as far as like,
I think she pulled her punches to continue writing. Like she said, she mentioned like to her author, like she was like, oh, or not her author, her agent. There's some thing where she talked about how like she was started writing fanfic of her own books, aka Cass and Nesta's book. And like while she was, I think, doing edits of this one. And I think that she knew she wanted to keep writing and pulled her punches so that she could still write in the world because
yeah, that makes sense. It was just like, okay, I hope there's more, and there was, and I need to reread and then get to it because, like, Nesta, like, oh, I hated her book 1. I mean, I still kind of hate her, but it's like
I hated her book 1 and 2.
I love her.
Nesta's the worst. I feel like Nesta will always be the worst.
I thought she was
like,
interesting. And I honestly, by probably book 3, I liked her. Or at least I was like,
Yeah.
But she's definitely a bitch. I just think that she's my bitch and I like her.
That's fair.
I was going into the 4th book and like her and Cass's book. By book 3, I didn't like her that much. I was like, I understand that she has like shit going on and she's like projecting onto other people, and I get that. Do I agree with that? No. But I'm like, okay, I want to see what her book is. I want to see where she's going. And that book, like, it explains like not everything, but you get a lot of her insight, which obviously is her like projecting everything. It was just really sad. So I have like a newfound respect for her. Do I like her? I'm still like on the border. Like I like her, I respect her. I'm like, okay, you're that bitch, I get you. Like you can stay there. That's kind of how I feel.
I will say the ending of that one, without spoiling, it feels very different from the endings of her first 2 books.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I felt about that.
I agree.
I have mixed feelings.
Totally agree.
Ominous.
Just read it.
I mean, it was a satisfying ending, but also, like, I think that as she has grown as an author, I think the things that she wants to do are different, and they might be things that I find less interesting, which is fine.
I also never read Crescent City. That was like, it was too much of a beast of a book for me to want to read.
I haven't read it yet either. Someone said nothing sexy happens. I can't remember if it was until 80% or until page 800.
That book is too chunky to wait that long.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
That's what I thought.
The whole
That's
goddamn book, nothing happens. There's like 2 spicy scenes, and they're not even like sex scenes. They're like, let me touch you in this, like on the couch. Let me do
They're
this.
like pace salsa level spicy.
Salsa.
I read that because of TikTok. TikTok was like, this is so spicy. And that was right after I read ACOTAR. And I was like, okay, I'll pick up this book. It took me a week to read. And I'm like, what? Do you know?
TikTok doesn't understand what
so mad
sexy is.
TikTok
Like,
either
they'll be
goes like
like,
real
no, right?
weird kinky or like real vanilla.
Yeah, I feel like it's either read these monster books or like, do you want to read a great romance? Try Anna Karina and Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I'm like,
Hey, I like Red, White, and Royal Blue.
No, I
wouldn't
do.
call it a
I'm just-
spicy romance, but I do like the book.
it's just like if there's going to be a decent
Yeah.
romance recommended, it's probably going to be Red, White, and Royal Blue because it's phenomenal and it did really well and it got a lot of public acclaim. But it's like Anna
Are you telling me
Karenina
Anna
and
Karenina
Red, White,
is
and
not a
Royal Blue?
romance? Are you saying that someone jumping in front of a train?
I literally saw those 2 in a TikTok together and I'm like,
What?
everything.
Tolstoy
in
hates
that-
women. It's not a romance.
Maybe if you're just talking about like Kitty and whatever that guy's name is starts with an L. I can't remember. It's been high school. There's like a small subplot and they're happy, but everyone else is miserable. So
It's Tolstoy. Everyone's always
romance.
miserable. That's classics.
I don't know. Yeah, I heard like book talk and like I haven't ventured down that rabbit hole yet for a reason.
I haven't either.
It's a mess.
It's not to say there's not some good there. Like I have a couple friends who post and like people that I follow, but not many.
I literally don't.
Wait, watery bowels? What?
What?
We left with the book.
Does Sarah J. Maas talk about watery bowels a lot? I don't recall.
think
I don't remember that at all.
Well, I'm in like chapter 3, so I guess I'll let y'all know. I know that she talks a lot about holding your breath or releasing a breath you didn't know you were holding, but
So does every YA.
Yeah.
It's like run in the mill.
she loosed a breath she didn't know she was holding.
She loosed a bowel. She didn't know.
Oh, I
She loosed
tweeted
a
something
bowel.
funny about that.
I don't
I
think so.
think it was like
Oh, like when she was like scared and she was gonna lose her bowel. She had watery. Yeah, that's kind of coming back.
That seems
I think
weird.
I blocked it out, but now I'm going to notice it.
I don't remember that, and I'm nervous now.
Now it's all you're gonna see when you read it.
Problems.
Just
No.
like the loose breath. Once that was like, I realized it was happening, I couldn't stop hearing it or reading it. And now it haunts all my books because now all of the books I track loose breaths. And I don't want to track watery bowels forever, but now I'm going to.
Yeah, it sticks out. I'm like, oh,
I said something.
there's that line again. Oh, watery bowels again.
Ew.
Watery bowels. I
Is that
hate it.
even
I
weird?
hate it.
Ugh.
You maybe just think of watery bowels as a description in like an alien romance, and I'm trying to figure out how that would play out.
Ooh, that would be the worst.
It would be the worst.
On
Gravity.
that-
Gravity and watery bowels
I
sounds
don't
weird.
feel good about this.
on an ice planet, like, ooh, no toilet
On
paper.
an ice planet.
I don't feel good about bowels in any romance. Keep your bowels to yourself.
I don't want to know about those details in my romance.
It's fair.
People don't poop in romance.
Oh, I read, sorry, this is circling back slightly, but I like read in a book recently, like where a hero, he didn't say like released a smirk, but it was like he let loose a smirk he didn't know was there, or something like along those lines. And I'm like, oh my God, is this the equivalent of like let out a breath?
It's
You
evolving.
loose
funny.
a smirk.
It was something like that. I'm trying to find the specific tweet because I thought it was so funny. I tweeted about it, but I can't find it.
Oh man, the tangents of the live shows. I live.
Why I sign up for your live shows, Kayla? Because I know that we will go.
Every time. It's, oh, how's your book? Okay, enough about that.
Watery
I don't know,
bowels.
watery bowels.
Watery bowels.
I think last time it was aliens and having sex on snowmobiles.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was a
Do
recently.
aliens do that frequently?
It was in one of my books. We were talking
Yeah.
about unique places characters have sex
Oh.
in romance books, and I mentioned 2 characters in my book had sex on a snowmobile.
Was it
That
moving?
is wild.
Yeah.
The one before that, we were trying to figure out the shape of a penis based on the description.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because that one
That
was
was
that one
also
in your
the time-
stories.
Yeah.
That was also the time where someone brought up Nicholas by Elizabeth something. It's the Seder
It
book.
was-
Okay,
yep.
did any of you guys read that?
No, because it's $10 for an ebook.
ebook. Yes.
Okay, so they have it at my library. So I read it with my friend Melissa, and it is so bizarre. It's like not really a romance. It's mostly, I mean, there's like a couple that ends up together at the end, but like definitely firmly erotica. There's incest. There's like a tribe of evil witches who suck life out of young people. Like it was so bananas. But we're gonna read the next book. So
I was gonna say it's book 1 in the series. There's more to come.
My library has all of them except for number 1.
Same.
No.
Well, we are both in Texas.
I guess. Do they all have the
Interesting.
same? Do you share? I know. I was like, and it was like what, $2.99 during the live or something, $3.99.
Yes, we didn't buy it.
It jacked it up to $9. I was like, people were buying it after we were talking about it, and I'm pissed.
Sure.
It went down to like, I was looking at Discord, and it went down to like $1.99 like a month ago. I'm like, why didn't no one tell me?
For real.
Tag me, like DM me, like, Kayla, here's $2. Go spend $2 on this damn book.
Well, if I ever find it on sale, I will let you know.
Please.
We need to read this book.
Yeah.
My library doesn't have
Lives
it.
are fun. Welcome, Casey. I always have like the rookies on my lives, and I feel like I scare them. I'm like, oh, what kind of books do you like to read? Okay, these are the books I like to read.
I just added that book to my Goodreads.
Yeah,
So.
there we go.
Yes.
Great. That sounds great.
Slowly adding to the Nicholas cult.
Yes.
This book we'll never read because it's $10 for an ebook.
How
I
many books
requested at my library.
The
I
series,
want to say there's
read
like
at least
6.
5.
There's 6?
There's a lot because we go like the first 3 brothers, and then they have kids, and there's other people.
Generational?
It's generational.
Family saga?
Okay.
I started listening to Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan today. And on the one hand, she's an amazing writer, but also like I have almost cried like 3 different times because it's just so brutal.
Is that the
And
first
this
one?
was like, yeah, it's the one. There's like pretty like on page assault and domestic abuse. So like, not a book for everyone. And I like had like this is a reread, so I was like, I know what I'm in for. Lies.
Mm.
Ugh.
Yeah, no.
But it's also like it's so well written. It's very clear. Like this is the book that was the first. Like it's the first book written by a person of color to win a Rita, which is now not an award that's being given out. Like it's immaculately written, but it's just like devastating. So I'm like, and now I'm going to read about spies in England and not think about.
I don't do feelings, so I'm gonna just continue listening to ACOTAR and hating Tamlin and Farah.
I also don't.
There you
I'm in
go.
the middle of like 3 books, right? Yeah, 3 books. I have like a historical fiction book that I'm reading. And then I have, Honey Girl, which is more like
Literary fiction.
fiction. Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it. Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't know anything about it going in, but I like it. And then I'm reading this Twisted Loyalties, so got a little bit of everything.
Wow. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. Thanks for riding the tangent waves that
Always
happen. So next week again is on Jess's channel. If you want to participate in the chat. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.